So, Christy, if you're 22 or you're 42 and you get really, really enthused about a new thing, it is human nature to want people that you're doing something that's working for you. You're winning because you got this thing, whatever it is. And then you want other people to win. You want other people to experience the success that you've had. Mm-hmm. It is natural to want to tell your brother to sell his car.
Yeah.
To tell your mom and dad to get their act together. You know, our whole family's always been bad with money, and I found a guy who's good with money. It doesn't matter if you're 22 or you're 42. The problem is people don't care that you're excited. And it's like if you lose a bunch of weight and you run around telling everybody they have to do what you did. Mm-hmm. Or whatever. I mean, I'm glad you lost a bunch of weight. I lost 37 pounds this year, so I needed to. I got fat during COVID. and so, but I haven't run around and made everybody else do it. You know, and now some people ask how I did it and what I did, and I've shared that with them then, but I didn't go up to them and go, I'm looking at you and I'm thinking you need to lose some weight. I didn't do that, you know. That's kind of unappealing.
It is. And it's interesting because I think everybody, regardless of your personality style, is resistant to someone telling them what to do. Unsolicited advice, someone just coming up to them saying, hey, you need to sell your car, regardless of if you're family members. The difference is, like you described, if someone shows an interest, hey, how'd you do that? Hey, how'd you pay off all your debt? Hey, how'd you lose all that weight? When they initiate because they're interested, because they've seen your example, they are so much more receptive to the path, the plan, the principles, than someone just uninvited comes up to them, tells them, hey, you're doing it wrong. Here's what you need to do different. The natural inclination is to dig your heels in and go, whoa, 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 whoa. You don't know me. It's none of your business. Yeah. You know.
I missed the part where I asked.
Regardless of who you are, that's in the human nature to resist that. So how you do it matters as much as what you do. And so setting that example and letting people come to you and then being open to say, hey, here's what I did. Here's what worked for me. This can work for you too.
Yeah, and what you can do is just start asking some questions. You can start telling your story. Mm-hmm. Tell your story. Mm-hmm. And, we can use the weight loss example. We can use the money example. You can go, hey, man, I just paid off $22,000 in debt. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah. And people are going to go, oh, wow, that's kind of cool, man.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Yeah.
And, well, you asked.
That's right.
See, don't ask.
That's right, because now you're going to get the plan.
The whole thing is to trick them into asking.
Yeah. There you go.
And tell your story, mm-hmm. and then they invite you into their story.
Well, then you've earned a right to. You've earned a right to be heard. And I think that makes a big difference versus just going around pointing a finger, casting blame. No one responds well to that. But when you set an example through your life, when you talk about what's working for you, you've earned the right to give that advice because you've actually lived it.
Hey, watch my debt-free scream on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Hey, look here, this is what I did, man. Mm-hmm. Or you could just go, I was really scared. And I didn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And man, I got on this budget, and just being on a plan, I feel like I got a raise. Mm-hmm. And again, all you're doing is telling your story. Mm-hmm. And you keep telling your story until they ask, how'd you do that?
That's right.
And if they never ask, you can't say.
That's right.
You should do this too. Because as soon as you cross that line, if they don't invite you to the party, mm-hmm. you are an uninvited guest at the party. That's stinky. That's rude.
Nobody likes that.
That's rude. Nobody wants to be the uninvited guest. And it's the worst is when you try to do this with your parents. Mm-hmm. Because you have the powdered butt syndrome. Once someone has powdered your butt, they don't want your opinion on money or sex. And so I have very accomplished and successful children. I do not need their opinion unless I ask.
That's right.
But, my son Daniel Ramsey and I were talking about a business thing the other day. He was showing me this thing he's redoing in one of the area of the company, and it was impressive. And he wasn't telling me what I should do. That wouldn't work.
No, right.
But he was inviting me, and I did. I stepped right into it. I said, that's pretty cool. How are you doing that? And then he gets to tell me, instead of coming in and going, we need to change this around here, and you don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, hey, dude, you weren't even a gleam in your mother's eye when I started this thing, so you need to shut up.
That's right.
But instead, he, oh, my gosh, He
you got to be strategic with it.
He did. He was taught by a pro. He completely suckered me in. But that's it. You tell your story, and that invites people to come in. And That's true of your faith. You want to talk about your Jesus?
That's right.
That's the most rude, offensive thing in the world, is to bust up in somebody's face talking about Jesus, and you don't even half know them, and they don't care what you think about Jesus. Instead, you start talking about what God did for you. What was your story?
That's right.
This is what happened to me. I was here, and now I'm here. I was there, and here I'm in a different place now. And you can tell your story all day, and very few people are offended by you telling your own story.
I answer questions at the end of the Christy Wright Show, and I got a question. I draw questions out of a fish bowl, so I don't know what's in the bowl. And several weeks ago, I drew a question out, and the question was, why did you choose Jesus over other religions? That's how it was worded.
Woo.
And Dave, I was so caught off guard, because normally it's like, how do I balance it all, right? Like, it's like these practical questions. I was so caught off guard, but I just, in that moment, just told my testimony. And it was that exact moment of going, I've been invited to share what this is to me and how my life has been transformed by this Jesus I talk about. And because I was asked, I was able to share that in a different way. But you're right. It's setting the example where people want to ask, what's different about you? What's different about you?
Yeah, that's why when somebody knocks on your door and forces a book in your face, that doesn't work, And I saw something the other day on social media. It's like, if one more person gives me the Dave Ramsey book, I'm going to kill him. And I'm
that
thinking,
person must really need it.
I appreciate people buying my books, but I kind of agree.
Yeah.
An unsolicited, give me a diet book. What are you saying? What's your point? Okay, unsolicited, give me a Dave book. What are you saying? You saying I'm a doofus? Yep. Yeah, you probably are, but you just insulted somebody with that. Now, Take Back Your Time book might not be quite as bad. It might not be quite as bad.
I always give you a hard time, because when someone gives someone your book, it says you have a problem. When someone gives you one of my books, like Business Boutique, it's like, I believe in you.
See, I need to write a believe in you book.
There you go.
That's what I need to do.
I don't know. You got your brand very on point with what you're doing here, Dave.
What are you saying? The brand's offensive? What are you saying, Christy?
We all know our strengths, Dave. We all know our strengths.
We all know where we're supposed to be sitting.
Oh, my gosh.
But that is, if you want to convince someone, particularly people you love, the closer we are to them, the tackier we tend to be.
Yeah.
We violate even just basic persuasion technique. We just go, because it's my brother, I can say anything I want.
Yeah. And you always talk about this in motivation, similar to the topic of balance, but you get asked this all the time through EntreLeadership. How do I motivate my team? And you say you don't. You hire motivated people. He even asked, how do I motivate my family? You can't motivate other people. You really can't.
No, but what you can do is put inspiration in front of them.
Yes.
And they may hook their wagon to it.
Yep.
And you, my son, are the inspiration.
Yep.
That's it. That's the deal. So tell your story. Even if the story doesn't have to be over. You could be just starting the story, but tell your story. Don't wag your finger at them. That's your only shot, folks. This is The Ramsey Show.